And welcome to another edition of the Michigan Football Breakdown, focused on the defense with that man they call Vance Bedford. We are back live, back doing it again. And I want to thank you, our Michigan Insider family, you folks who join us on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter on a weekly basis. Obviously, the live shows, at least the ones, the breakdowns were on hiatus last week as I was out due to the passing of my brother. And so, as I have started off all the shows, thanking all of you who sent along your prayers and well wishes and condolences, tried to go through and respond with, even if it was just a like, tried to go through and respond to them all because they were all appreciated very much. Um, and they're still coming through, and they all mean a lot, mean a ton to me because it's been a very, very hard time, very, very hard time. And this is work has never been so therapeutic. Um, so it's for me is always work is always one of those things that I don't treat like work, but more so now than ever. So I appreciate you allowing me to spend this time with you because it is a welcome distraction. So with that, want to not be so heavy and want to focus on some football. My man Vance Bedford with you people, focused on something that has driving all you crazy. I want to be driven crazy right now. I want to listen to you complain. I want to listen to you, talk about, the season is over. I want to hear all of that. Because Vance, people think Michigan season is over right now. You know, what, 5 games into the season? Season's already over, according to a lot of Michigan fans. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic, and I tell you what I've seen from the Michigan team, offense, defense, and special teams, we've gotten better and better every single week in every aspect of what we're doing, and we're growing. Just think about it. How many we had? We have one starter back on offense in Loveland. He was out. He finally came back, but you can see he still has a bad shoulder. We have three starters back on defense. Your two linemen and Will Johnson. What do you expect? For us to be like we've been for the past 3 years? I don't know what people are complaining about. I've seen progress every single ball game. So that goes, my hat's off to the coaches and also to the players because on defense, it's a whole new staff, Sam. They coach differently, they speak differently. They got some different things in what they have done in the past. So it's even new to Mason Graham and Big Grant. They got to learn some different things. So I could see us moving forward, getting better and better every single ball game. And I expect big things this weekend versus Washington. A couple of sacks, a couple of interceptions, maybe even scoring on defense again. That's my expectations coming up.
So I see people asking in the chat, where are the film studies? The film studies are available exclusively on the Autograph app. Okay. The Autograph app is free. Free, free, free. Let me stress this again. It is free. I keep seeing people show up in the comments saying, why did you take the film studies off of YouTube and put them behind the paywall? The film studies were not put behind. The film studies were not put behind a paywall, people. They were not. They were put on the Autograph app, and it is free. Now, what putting them on Autograph allowed me to do, now you gotta understand, Vance Bedford and Al Borges, they're not bloggers. They're not bloggers. They're not gamers. They didn't do this for fun. They didn't just study it in a book. They actually did it for a living. I'm not I'm not downing. I'm not downing blog. So I actually write, blogs, and I actually study football in the book. So I'm not downing that those categories. But what I'm saying is, for Al and Vance, to have been breaking down film on YouTube and for you to be going to YouTube and not paying a cent. It's kind of like that's not like a given. It's like, so for it to be going on autograph and for these guys to be able to get compensated is a good thing, don't you think? And for you to still get it for free, I feel like that's a pretty good compromise. You can still get it for free. Vance could get some steaks. Tiki could get a bone. We might be able to get Maggie on vacation. Man, everybody's happy, right?
Hey, Sam, I'm looking at some of the comments. When you go to the app, they have every podcast that Michigan does in that app. You have to go to find the Michigan Insider in that particular autograph app, and then you can find the different breakdowns. Because I looked at it last week. I went through it, and all the other podcasts are on there also from different groups. And I found the Michigan Insider, and there it was. So you just got to take time to go through it and find it. If I can do it, I'm being honest. If I can do it, I know people can find it much easier than I can. My sister, who's older than me, she has found it. And neither one of us are good on these phones for all these different apps. So all you got to do is just go through it, find the Michigan Insider, and you see the different cut-ups from Al and myself.
Right. So listen, I say all that to say the autograph app is free. It comes with perks. Like when you watch the film studies, they're available exclusively on the autograph app. You actually, when you watch the film studies, our free content from the MichiganInsider.com, by the way, actually goes to the autograph app to other blogs, free blogs and podcasts and whatnot aggregate over through the autograph app. When you do those things, read those blogs, listen to those podcasts, watch the film studies, you accrue points, and then you can redeem those points for rewards over the autograph app. Great concept by Tom Brady, Michigan's own Tom Brady, and his team over there. Great concept to reward your fan loyalty. So again, it's free. It comes with perks, great content, exclusive content like the film studies. You're supporting Al, you're supporting Vance, you're supporting the Michigan Insider. Doesn't get any better than that. So I'm about to put the QR code on the screen right now. All you got to do, check it out. It's available on Android and iOS. Very simple for you to download right here, right now. Boom, on the screen. There you go. The film studies go live on Wednesdays. The only reason why it went live on Thursday last week, because we had to move everything down today because I had the funeral arrangements and I was out. I had to scramble to get Josh to fill in for the film studies. So that's the only reason why I was moved down today last week. But they go live on Wednesdays. All right. That's when the film studies go live. So download the autograph app by scanning this QR code and you will be ready to go. If you don't like to put in QR codes, some people don't like to do that. It's very simple to type in the web address, link.ag.fan/Sam Webb. Again, the link to the autograph app is link.ag.fan/Sam Webb. That gets you started. The autograph app. Okay? We good? We'll tell you about the Buckeye breakdown, the Buckeye film study that we're going to do in the bye week coming up a little bit later. Right now, let's get to talk about this game, Vance. The defense in this game. Hey, Vance, to start the game, they were getting it in. To start the game, they were beastly. To start the game, Minnesota couldn't block Michigan.
I'll tell you what, for 3 quarters. For 3 quarters, we flat dominated the game. Our defensive line, our front four, did a tremendous job. I mean, we did a great job disguising coverages. Wink had some great new looks on defense. He got in bear defense and ran from dropping 8 to zone pressure to cover 2. He did it all. I mean, so for 3 quarters, I'm thinking, I got my family coming over, Sam. I got my Dino ribs on the grill. I'm thinking, this is a blowout. This is a blowout. So I'm cooking. All of a sudden, I look around. I'm like, wait a minute. We got a game going on. I start getting a little bit anxious. And we got to play 4 quarters, not 3 quarters. We played 3 quarters of outstanding football. The 4th quarter, now we didn't look the same. We looked a little tight and a little bit like a young football team at times. But for 3 quarters now, it was a blowout game, in my opinion.
Yeah, it was. The defensive front minus Josiah Stewart, who was on one against USC. It was a phenomenal game. The defensive front, not just Josiah. I mean, I think they had 5 sacks against USC, and other guys got loose. Kenneth Grant, Rayshawn Benny had a sack. A lot of guys were getting loose in that game. But without Josiah against Minnesota, it was the Mason Graham show.
It
He
was.
set the tone in this game.
He did. Mason had some plays, just one on one. I think the guy was having flashbacks from last year. We talked about it on the telestration part. I think that's the same guy that Mason probably clubbed last year with that one club, and he just turned Mason loose a couple of times. And the officials threw some flags on Mason once because he was just beating the guy so badly. Like, I got to help this poor guy out. So he gave him some charity right there. But like I said, overall, for 3 quarters, I would have given our defense an A. But then that 4th quarter now, we play like a C team. So we got to play 4 quarters, not 3, and finish the ball game, because with 6 minutes to go in the ball game, we had Big Brother, our defense, on the field, and we didn't stop them. We had several times to go off the field, and we didn't stop them. That's where you want to be. Big Brother's on the football field. Guess what? Game over with. That's what I'm thinking. Hey, we out there. We got the dogs out there right now. Game over with. They went right down the field and scored on us, Sam.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you wonder when you look at them in the second halves of these games, Vance. I wonder what you see as being a difference. I know you can't say with absolute certainty because you aren't in the locker room, but just in your experience when you've had teams that maybe didn't play in the second half as well as they did in the first, was there a common denominator? Was there a common theme as to why or what you saw with teams that maybe had letdowns in second halves?
I've been in that situation. I really have, and I don't have an answer for it. I've been in a situation where we play really good first half football, and we come out in the second half. It's like, man, wake up! What's going on? We play good fundamentals. We communicated well. All of a sudden, we're not playing it with the same type of intensity. Something's missing. And everybody said, well, it's halftime adjustments. And there's a lot of truth to halftime adjustments. Both teams on both sides of the football, and sometimes you save certain things back defensively to throw in the second half. But the 4th quarter has been a struggle for us for a couple of games right now, if you think about it. Last week versus USC, it was the 3rd quarter. USC came out and went right down the field and scored. Then we tightened up in the 4th quarter. So whether it be the 3rd or 4th quarter, we've had some letdowns, and we got to find a way with some senior leadership to step to the plate and go play football, and let's close things out.
Couple of observations. I wonder if you think, because we have some very astute viewers and listeners who follow us. So Gio Grach on Facebook says, when Minnesota started going up tempo, and Vance, we noticed in the film study some issue, an alignment issue when they went up tempo. The defense really started to struggle. That led to a touchdown in one instance, right? So what about that being an issue?
You go back to when we first started the study with Mike, McDonald was the DC. He had issues with up-tempo. A guy coming from the NFL to college, that's an adjustment. You don't see it in the National Football League. You really don't. You sit in a 2-minute drill, but as far as people on the ball going fast, you got to get your call in. You got to simplify things so the guys can play fast. It hurt us a little bit in the second half. They went up-tempo in that 4th quarter, and our guys, because of a lack of experience, we looked like a team that was a little rattled. And a lot of times in those particular situations, as a play caller, you try to start simplifying the game so they can get back to playing fast. You have to be the guy to control how your players are feeling at that time. And sometimes pressure might not be the answer. I don't know. For every coach and every team, it's different. And that's the things that Wink is adjusting to right now, the college game as compared to the NFL game.
All right, another observation, this one from Newber on YouTube. It says, looks like the lack of depth on offense, not sustaining drives. Defense looks exhausted in the second half. Did you feel like that could be a contributing factor?
We control the clock on offense more in this game, really, in the game we've had so far. Think about it, especially in the first half. We had some pretty good drives. It took time off the clock. Now, when you talk about depth, we don't really have that type of depth that we had a year ago. I mean, I go back last year, Mason Graham was out for a couple of games. We didn't miss a beat. Right now, inside, we don't have those guys coming off the bench that can really keep us as far as the intensity and the physical toughness. I haven't seen that right now. There's a drop off. And so we don't substitute guys in as much this year as the previous 2 years. And so that has been a concern. I think Mason and Big Grant, they appear to tire out late in the games because they're playing more now than what they did a year ago. And I think that's starting to show up.
Yeah, I think they got one guy for sure that they know is a guy like Rayshawn, number 26. Rayshawn's a dude. Now we've seen flashes from Big Ike, 92. Like he showed up in what game was that?
That was USC. I think that was USC showed up. Yeah.
So we seen flashes, like, you got to see it consistently. Like in this game. So in this game, a guy depth-wise that kind of showed up was on the edge, TJ Guy, number 42. Yes. Like TJ Guy made some really good. It's like, okay, he's looking like he might be developing into a really, really solid depth guy. He made some really high IQ plays. He made some really good physical plays. He had the sack late. Like now, but you got to do it consistently, right, Vance?
Yeah. I'm going to give him a lot of credit. Hopefully it's not too much. He's the type of guy, when I look at a Bill Belichick, for years he didn't like young players. He would go and get a free agent, a veteran guy who shows some playing time experience, shows some football awareness. That young man in this ball game, he showed a high football IQ. As far as recognizing plays, as far as where he had to drop, playing with his eyes, getting the right spot. He showed me some things that excited me, that going forward, if he can continue to do that, he would give us a lot of depth. He is a football smart guy right now. And that's a very small window to evaluate a guy in, but he did a tremendous job in his ball game. I mean, some really smart plays. I like what I saw of that young man. I really did.
Yeah, he had big shoes to fill. He was in there for Josiah Stewart. So, but he made some really, really heady plays. Like, I give you an example. Like Vance, I remember last year, one of the things that you really highlighted, it sticks out to me in the Nebraska game, for instance. You were talking about Josiah and Derek Moore being backups, and you were talking about the drop off between them and Jalen Harrell and Braden McGregor as edge droppers.
Yeah.
Like, so now he's like, Sam, look at the starters as edge droppers. They don't just drop to drop. Like they have awareness when they drop. He said, now look at these other guys when they drop. It's like they don't have awareness when they drop. Right? There's a drop off here. No pun intended. Right? But TJ Guy got in this game, Vance, and if you watch the film study, this dude is like, man, boom. When he drops, there is awareness.
Yes, it is.
He has an idea what the hell he's doing.
And that's what I like about him. He showed football IQ. He knew what he had to do. And to me, that's everything. Sometimes you can put on a defense, and it looks great. In practice, it looks great. You get in a game where things are going faster, the people that can think, things calm down for them. And now they can execute what they did in practice and what they did in meeting rooms. Some guys can't do that. My man, he showed a great job of doing that. And we need to see more of that from different guys. From our linebackers need to start playing with their eyes. And my biggest thing I always say is, like, you want to put a body on a body. In other words, if I have a receiver, he breaks out, I need to go and match him as far as his route. And in the film study, we had a few plays that actually showed that. And I think that's key. And we are missing some of that at the present time. It's not as clean as it was last year, but again, we are getting better and better every ball game because of, again, we have a lack of experience. And those are the growing pains that you go through with an inexperienced football team.
So a guy, we'll get to your grades coming up. A guy that there are two guys that you have singled out, and now you always make it a point. You listen, whether it's a coach or a player, you don't. Vance doesn't sugarcoat. Like so, let's be clear. And you come on this show, and then people are like, "Oh well, y'all won't ever, y'all won't ever, you know, say a mistake was made here, or that was a bad call, or that was a bad play." No, y'all confuse criticism with you know just being belligerent. Like that there's a difference. Now every now and then, now Vance will call some DAs out. Now
Real fast.
yeah, Vance will assign some DAs. So
In
let
a
me
loving way.
let me not say that Vance won't do that. Vance will say some DAs, right? But you're not listening to the show. You're not listening to the show because I'm coaches and players. We talk about play calling. Gotten plenty of calls from coaches say, "Hey, you got a problem with my play calling?" For sure, for sure, those calls have come through, right? And there have been players who have taken issue with, "Hey, he said this, he said that," but you always make a point, Vance, when you say, "Hey, this young man is making some mistakes out here." When that young man starts to play well, you also say, "This young man is playing really well." So, two players in particular who you were highlighting the first couple of games of the season, you're like, man, this young man, he really needs to pick it up. Number 20 and number 15, Vance. These are two players that had some moments of struggle first few games of the season, and now both players have been outstanding the last couple of weeks.
Both of these guys are starting to make plays. Again, you start off the first few ball games, they show inexperience of being a starter. It's great when you come off the bench, you playing 15 snaps a game. That's easy because now you're hungry. Okay, now you're the starter and you out there every single play. That's totally different. And I have seen the progress of those two guys week in and week out. Now, as you just talked about, I'm looking at things through a coach's eyes when I evaluate things. It's not necessarily a criticism. I'm evaluating guys, and hopefully they do look at the show, that they go back and look at those same plays and see what they should have done differently the next time to have success. Now, I don't sugarcoat anything. I didn't do it as a coach. My players they'll tell you, yeah, Coach Bedford, yeah, he crazy, but you know what? He said in a way to make me better. And so from whether it be the coaches who call the defensive plays or the players, I'm gonna make my comments from a coach's perspective. If you love it, that's fine. If you don't love it, I'm good too. Because I'm Sam, I'm retired. I'm just gonna get my recliner and enjoy life. That's why I love doing this show because I'm doing it for the benefit of the players, the coaches, and the fans to learn the game. That's why I do what I do. I'm gonna be honest all the time. My man Thrill Hill has come a long way. That's why I call him Thrill Hill, baby, because he was a thrill in this ball game watching him play.
Yeah, he balled out. He balled out. He made plays when it came to coming up in run support. He made plays in coverage. I mean, he made a big play to stop what would have been maybe a touchdown.
It would have been a big play. I mean, he made one play. He made a great play. Our fits were wrong, but again, our defensive end made the ball bubble. He saw the safety get blocked. He pulled the trigger really for a tackle for a loss. But he don't make that play now. It's going down the sideline for a big one. So my man Hill has come a long way, and I am so happy to see that. And again, each week he's gotten better and better and better. And that's what a young guy should do, who hadn't played a lot, who's now playing a lot, and I can see that progress week in and week out.
All right, Vance. As we kind of shift to getting toward the questions from the people, I'm curious your thoughts on what folks have said about Wink because he's had some responses to it of late. There's been some talk about all he does is play man. There's been some talk about his blitz rate. There's been some consistent comparisons to Don Brown. He definitely has been irked by it. Clearly, he's heard it to the point where he's like, "Look, leave me the hell alone."
Like we said previously, my man, he grew up around Buddy Ryan's sons. I can't believe he even paying attention to what all these people out here saying. First of all, he does not play a lot of man. That's make the now he when you get in the red zone, he will blitz you. But overall, he is doing a lot of things, simulated pressures. In other words, he's giving you the look of like it's man to man, but he's playing zone behind it. If you go to the film study, it's a lot of two roll, it's a lot of two robber, off a rock, and some other things. But he's playing a lot of zone. And early on, when we first started the season, our players were struggling in what we were doing, but each week has gotten better and better. He disguises a lot of things. It looks like man to man, then we go to whether it's 3 deep or whether it's some type of 2 deep. So he is nothing like Don Brown. It's not even close. I still can't believe it bothers him because, again, he hung out around the Ryans and they didn't care about what anybody said. They went and did what they wanted to do, and life went on. So, Wink, brother, let it go. Look at that. Hey, Sam, what I'm doing right there, Sam, I'm just brushing it off and move on, baby. Wink, do what you do, baby. Don't worry about the what ifs and the who done it. Just do you, baby. You be all right.
Yeah, man. It's he said people who talk about blitz rate don't really understand. They don't know what a pressure is. They don't know what a sim pressure is.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Because he does a whole lot of simulated pressures. Now, he does more than what Zessie did as far as that goes, but it's not man pressure. It's zone pressure, guys playing with zone eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, we shall see. Folks, if you have questions for Van, start putting them in the chat. If you have questions for Van, start putting them in the chat. I'll put the prompt up there now because we're getting to the Q&A part of the show. So, but right now, want to get to your grades for the defense, Vance. Again, I'm putting the prompt up now. If you have questions for Vance, put them in the chat right now, and we will get to them in the Q&A session. But Vance, let's start. Go ahead and get into your grades. Starting with your grades for the defensive front.
I tell you what, overall, going into after 3 quarters, I would say we were A- across the board. Now the 4th quarter is totally different. And you got to put all 4 quarters together because of what happened in the 4th quarter. For the defensive line, I got to give them a C plus. They didn't finish the game. For the linebackers going into after 3 quarters, we're probably sitting right around a B plus. But again, some things that didn't show up in the 4th quarter, I'm putting those guys at a C plus. For the secondary, overall, I thought for 1 or 2 plays, they did probably one of their better games because you're missing my man, my best corner out there. I'm going to give those guys a B minus. So they made great progress. And overall, as a defense, they right around a C because of the 4th quarter. Just saying, we on the football field with 4 minutes to go in the game and the defense out there, game over. I'm thinking, hey, game is over with. They went right down the field and scored on us. They really did. And so I'm like, this is not what's supposed to happen. We got Big Brother out there, and we didn't get the job done. That's the only thing I think about. We got our best unit out there. If we said offense was out there and they had a 4-minute drill, round the clock, like defense get ready to go. That's what I'd be saying right now. But we got the defense out there, game over. Hey, band start playing right now. Held to the victors, game over with. And it wasn't like that. And that's why the grades are what they are because of that 4th quarter.
All right, folks. Listen, before we get to the Q&A, I want to let you folks know Michigan's bye week is on the horizon. Just because Michigan is going to be in a bye doesn't mean we're going to say bye. Doesn't mean that we're going to be on hiatus. Doesn't mean that the film studies are going to take a break or the breakdowns are going to take a break. No, we're going to break down the Buckeyes. We are going to do a Buckeye film study, a Buckeye breakdown. The bye week is going to be dedicated to Ohio State. Ohio State counterintelligence, Ohio State reconnaissance. Now, I know some of y'all have already given up. You have already conceded defeat. A lot of y'all act like y'all Buckeyes. I get it. A lot of y'all forgot back in 2021 when there was a quarterback who tried it out a couple games into the season, went 7 for 15 for 44 yards, and there were fans who were saying at Michigan, there's just no hope. There's no hope for the future. There's no hope for this offense. 7 for 15, 44 yards. They went out a couple of games later. They barely scraped out a victory against Rutgers. And it's like, there's just no way this offense is ever going to be good enough to do anything this season. Now, I'm not promising you that history will repeat itself. I'm not guaranteeing you that this offense is going to develop in the same way. I'm just telling you that there was a time where fans were sounding quite the same. And at that time, things developed. And they found a way for that game to matter. Found a way for that matchup with the Buckeyes to mean something. So we're going to prepare for the possibility. See, we got Vance on the job. Vance is doing a little counterintelligence, a little reconnaissance, as I said. And we're going to have that Buckeye breakdown in both bye weeks. So the first Buckeye breakdown is going to focus on, I think, the first 5 or 6 Ohio State games. See, but it's not free. It's not free. See, the autograph relationship covers the Michigan film studies. It doesn't cover the Ohio State film study. This is where our crew, this is where our Michigan family comes in. See, because we need y'all to help fund the Buckeye film studies, right? Because Vance, he got the, he needs the buffalo steaks and the pork the porks, the pig steak. We all kind of steaks. The ribs, the pork ribs, the beef ribs. Come on now, you got to make this happen. It's not free. And by the way, we share the intelligence. We share it with all are welcome. Anyone who wants to see, not just you folks who are here on the stream, anyone who might want to see what Vance has to say about the Buckeyes can see. Is that right, Vance?
It's live at 5 for everybody, especially those butter ducks down there. Hey, they are welcome. I love when they come on the show because they are so funny.
Or anyone in Ann Arbor who might want to see what Vance might have, what he might uncover. Anyone who might want to see, because see, Vance has that intel. Vance intel is so fire that NFL coaches tried to hire him, college coaches tried to hire him, and he's doing this work for you, the people. So if you can help fund the Buckeye breakdown, here's how you can do it. I'm putting it on the screen right now. I'm putting it in the chat, putting it in that PayPal link. Get on there right now. Help fund the Buckeye breakdown. So Vance can get those steaks. Tiki can get that bone. We got to get Maggie on a vacation. I've been promising Maggie a vacation for years, and I haven't delivered. Maggie is like, damn it, Sam. You all talk. I'm all talk, man. So I got you to the steakhouse. Now I got to get Maggie a vacation. So
Hey, Sam, I want to give them a little taste. I saw the Ohio State the other day. They running a counter RPO. In other words, like they got the counter and they got a slant outside. I saw that. They hit it for a big play the other day. So some of the things we saw versus Texas, that offense is pretty similar.
all right.
Great PO game. So I'm giving you a little taste. Hey, a little Texas red hat on the side, baby.
There we go. There we go. All right, let's go ahead and get to the Q&A for Vance. If you have questions for Vance, put them in the chat right now. Again, if you have questions for Vance, put them in the chat right now, and we will get to them here in the Q&A. We'll start off first with a question for Dr. Singh. Dr. Singh, who's been asking about the film studies, by the way, are they available on the PC? As far as I know, not at this time, Dr. Singh. At last check, they weren't. I will check to see. I know some people who view them on their tablets, um, but I don't know that they're available on, your PC. So, um, not at this time, I don't think, but I will check to see. But his question, Coach, do you feel there are issues with the defensive calls?
Not at all. I mean, on the film study, we talked about those things. Wink does a lot of simulated pressures. It looks like you're playing man to man, but he's some form of zone. It could be cover two, it could be some form of cover three. And the biggest thing is that the youth we have out there, there's been some minor issues with execution. But from game one to this past weekend, we've made great progress with our players. They're doing a better job communicating. And they seem like they understand what they have to do a lot better. But we're still growing and learning. So we're gonna have a few more mistakes, but they're becoming fewer and fewer every single ball game.
All right. Hey, by the way, Ty Lindsay says he watches them on his computer. Hey, Ty, drop a reply. I missed your reply. If you have a tip, drop the reply. I'll check it out, put it on the screen for folks who are looking for that tip. So, but more questions for Vance, put them in the chat. If you have questions for Vance, uh, da, 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 da. So Lance Flory says, I've noticed the main issue with the defense is when they rotate some of the new guys in so they can get some reps. That's pretty.
That's always the issue. You have injuries right now, so you see some of that. But again, think about this. You have an entire new defensive staff. The players are hearing things from that's totally different as far as how these coaches talk compared to the previous staff. That in itself is an adjustment phase. And the next thing is you have a lot of new guys in the back seven. So they're going through that change as far as adjusting to each other and growing with the new staff, how they teach certain techniques and how they talk about those particular techniques. And that's what you're seeing right now. And that's why we're getting better every ball game. The kids are getting used to the coaches, and the coaches are getting used to the young players.
All right. Another question for Vance. This one from Jake Myers says, Go Blue, Vance. DG was talking trash about defensive players during the Monday morning quarterback. Your thoughts? So let me give you exactly what he said. He said defensive players aren't very smart. As a matter of fact, he said most defensive players are dumb. That's what
He didn't say that. I'm not buying that. You're making that up.
Folks.
You're making that up.
But can I get a witness?
Man,
can I get a witness?
I know he didn't say that.
Can I get a witness? If I'm lying, we'll put people in the chat. If I'm lying,
I got one question, Sam. Why did he not say that last year?
So I'm gonna repeat. So listen, listen here. Here it is, Vance. Ben Craphole. I don't think your name is Craphole, but he says can't confirm. Keegan Imhoff says it was pretty close to that. Andres Martinez says Sam's telling the truth. Newber said he did say that. Adam Shepardson said it's the truth.
Sam, only thing I can say to that is that you heard me talk over the past 3 years about how bad some of these quarterback coaches are. So I guess quarterbacks not very smart either, are the quarterback coaches, because they can't read the covers to save their lives. So I guess we all on the same page together. So we all not very smart. Quarterbacks and defensive players. And the quarterback's supposed to be the smartest guy on the football field. They can't read the covers. So what are we talking about?
Jay Marion said he said it. 23 Tails said, yeah, he said it, Vance. Come on, man. I'm not making it up. All right, anyway. Let's go ahead and get back to the questions. Let's see. Man, to the people. Kobe Nichols said, we got you, lifting y'all up. Man, I appreciate you. Keegan Imhoff, it will get better. Jeremiah Webb, we love you, prayers for you and your family. Sam, I love you guys back. Love you back. Lance Flory says, I've noticed that Michigan has been trying to get some of the new guys some work on that line. We talked about that, Vance, and this is where I think the the depth has been emerging the most. The backups have been emerging the most. At least that's how it feels, Vance.
You have to play, for example, the 4 down linemen. You have to play more than 4 guys. They can't play 70 snaps a game. They just can't do it. I don't care what type of conditioning program you're on. If you look across the country, any good top 15 program, they're playing anywhere from 6. And if you're very good like we were last year, you're playing 8 guys. So you have to have that depth. Otherwise, than that, a guy that's 315, 20 pounds, and he got to play 70 plays a game, it's not going to happen. You got to somehow get that down to the most 50 plays a game. And now he can go out there and give you 4 to 6 seconds of 50 plays, 50 snaps winning football. So you have to build that depth. We have some young guys coming along. Sometimes they show up well, sometimes they don't. That's part of it. Those are called growing pains. Because you're building for right now, you're building for the future.
Oh, by the way, Edwin Besisi. Now I think I got. Forgive me if I said your name wrong, Edwin, on Facebook. He said no. The quote was, he said, defensive players are inherently dumb.
Oh my goodness, he went really deep on that. Oh wow. I mean, he talking about their grandparents right now. Oh my goodness, DG went that way. He went way left. He said he got the dumb gene from the mom and dad who got it from grandma. He gone back 100 years. Wow. See, that brother well educated, so he's on television now and everything else. He done went way left on us.
Q said, Coach Bedford, you are a national treasure. Thanks for sharing your knowledge and passion for the game with us. Oh man, you are a treasure, Vance. You are a treasure. I need to laugh, brother. You just what the doctor ordered. Just what the doctor ordered. All right. On to the next one. Dr. Singh is back. He says, Coach, why do we give up 3rd and long quite a bit this year? Are the corners playing too far off? And should we be pressuring more in those situations?
We do pressure in the situations. That's what people have been complaining about. And the corners are not the ones that are getting beat. It's right down the middle of the field. You're working a nickel back, linebackers, and safeties. That's where we've had some issues at. It hasn't been the corners. It's been more inside based on what people are attacking us right now. I mean, it's tough sometimes to throw away outside the numbers. So we're being attacked right around the hashes or inside the hash. So now you're affecting nickelback, safety, and linebackers. And that's been the issue. So 3rd down, for the most part, except for the Texas game, we've really improved. Now, this last ball game against Minnesota, we were decent for the most part into the 4th quarter. The 4th quarter, we had some letdowns. We had some execution issues, in my opinion.
Turnover buffs. The buffs are back. The buffs are back. Said DG got too big for his britches.
Hey, he got a couple of awards. Every time you're on your show on Monday morning, he got his little trophies back there. DJ. Hey, he's showboating. He's showing off what he is now. He big time, man. I saw Al talking about how he's trying to make DG a wide receiver. I guess he at that time, Al didn't think he was smart enough to play quarterback. Don't get me started with no curveballs.
Oh, we got some cross-show talk. Cross show chatter going on. I love it. I love it. I love all the smoke. Even across my shows, I love the smoke. All right, let's go back to it. This one is from DeBecco. DeBecco says, thoughts on our DB play without Will. What did you think?
I thought they did a tremendous job. I really did. I think my man Thrill Hill made some outstanding plays, interception down the sideline, great position, finding the ball, getting the toe in. He came off a couple of times, made some nice tackles. I think that he did really well. I wonder this. I know I might sound crazy. Could Will play nickelback?
That's what you guys did with Charles, didn't you?
It's exactly what we did with Woodson. But we felt like at the time, remember now, Andre Wellis was the corner veteran. We had a couple of great, talented young freshmen in that ended up playing in the National Football League for about 8 years. So we were able to move him inside. The last 3 years, our nickelback has been very productive. Right now, our nickelback has not been productive. On that last drive, they doubled the X receiver. The nickelback was in zero coverage by himself. He got to be off the line of scrimmage right now. My question is, either we got to do some things to adjust that position, or if Will can go inside, and the two kids that started at cornerback this past game, Hill and Hall, if they can hold up, I mean, you get your best players on the football field. Nothing against anybody else. But right now, that position has been very productive, whether it's been blitzing, whether it's been coverage. Right now, the productivity out of our nickelback is not what it's been for the previous 3 years. That's not a knock on him. That's just talking about how gifted those guys were, because they both are draft picks playing in the National Football League.
All right, on to the next one. Cut from a different cloth says, I'm not sure what you were referencing, but he says, talking about teams, when they get in the red zone under weak scheme, someone routinely ends up open all alone in the end zone. I'm not sure what he was referencing, but
well, he's going back to the USC game. We had a blitz on, no communication. The nickelback came, nobody was there. And also in the USC game, we were in a zone coverage, and I call it split seven. In other words, in a bunch formation, and you got number one goes inside, number two runs a corner route, number three goes to the flat, split seven. And the seventh round, the guy saw the corner sitting, he adjusted and sat down. And there's nothing wrong with the coverage. Now it's wrong with execution. The guys got to play with their eyes and squeeze routes. So I don't agree with that comment. Anytime you can see 10 plays, 8 good plays and 2 bad plays, and we just hop on the 2 bad plays. But it's been 8 good plays. So again, 80% is a B. I mean, that's good enough to win a lot of ball games. So we got to clean up some things, but overall, I don't see it that way.
All right, on to the next one. Jay Marion wants to know, Vance, how do you feel about Brandon Hillman's play, number 6, safety?
He made a few plays. If you go to the film study, he had a couple of bad run fits. And one play, my man Thrill Hill saved us on the screen. There's a rock. My man, he went inside of 2 blocks. And then if my man Hill don't pull the trigger now, it might go down the sideline for a long way. He's still running today, maybe. That's how bad it was. So, again, he's coming along. He's not where he needs to be. Now he's going to go out to Seattle, Washington. They're going to do some up-tempo. They're going to spread us from sideline to sideline. And now our safety play, we need more productivity out of our safety play. The corners for the last couple of ball games, they've shown great progress. But again, I'm going to go back to our nickel and our 2 safeties is not the same caliber as we have seen for the previous 3 years. It just isn't. And we need to get better in order to beat some of the teams that are coming up.
All right. Another question for you, Vance. DeBecco is back, says, Vance, tell us more about linebacker play. Number 15, you said you liked how he stepped up. You had the one alignment issue that led to the touchdown, but how do you feel about linebacker play overall compared to maybe the first couple of games of the season?
If you go back to the Texas game, we talked about, maybe 15 need to go to the bench. But ever since then, overall play by the linebackers inside, they've gotten a lot better. Again, you can see the inexperience of how guys grow and get better from week to week to week. And that's what you got to have when you have guys who haven't played a lot of football. And it's one thing to come off the bench a year ago and play 15 snaps. That's great. Now you got to be the dog. You got to be out there and you got to play 60 snaps instead of 15. There's a huge difference. So that growth, sometimes it takes time. And I've seen the progress week in and week out. Now, going against Washington, it's going to be a true test of where we are at the linebacker position, because they're going to spread us out. We're going to get some up-tempo. Can they make the right checks, calm people down, and have the right run fits. This is going to be a real test for them. It's going to go back to a little bit what University of Texas did to them.
Yeah, as Jordan says, I still want to see more roller. I wonder if that has something to do with it because it really felt like they were trending towards moving roller into having some more snaps. I think that was a very real possibility.
I think you need to see him play just for the depth and to keep my man Houseman fresh. I think you have to do that. That takes, instead of having to play 70 plays a game, now he's playing 60 plays a game. I think it benefits everybody when you start rotating guys that way in situations to get them into the game and get them playing. But at the end, you want your best players on the football field. Just that simple.
I wonder, is that part of it? Like, hey, this sometimes, Vance, it lights a fire under a dude's behind when they feel like I might lose my job.
Well, you know what, Sam? One thing I said, when you're at the University of Michigan, that fire should be there already.
You're right.
I need competition to make me play better. They should be at Michigan.
I hear you.
Go back. I played at Texas. I was never worried about the guy behind me because I know even if I heard a toe or missed a practice, I could lose my spot. So I went out and balled out regardless because you know what? I wanted to play. If I need motivation from somebody behind me, you should be at another school. You're at the wrong school.
All right. Duly noted. Duly noted. All right. Go back to the phone. I think this is supposed to be distinctly Jeremy Matthews, I think. Anyway. Vance, how much does our youth hurt this amazing and aggressive system of Wink? I noticed. Are you related to Wink? Vance, how much does our youth hurt this amazing and aggressive system of Wink? I know the fans talk about his blitz rate, but I think it's more so assignment breakdowns versus scheme issues of some of our offensive struggles. Do you agree?
I think the breakdowns, the issues, are the assignments of our kids learning what to do. It's truth to that. I think from game one to this past week, you can see the progress of us getting better as far as doing those type of things. I think as Jesse Minna was there, because you have so many new guys, we would have some of the same issues, maybe not as many because he didn't do as many different type of simulated pressures. But I think some of those growth pains will be happening with those guys, even if Jesse was here. Because you have a lot. We have the two tackles are back as starters. Will Johnson, we got safety and more. So you got 4 guys back. You got 7 new guys on the football field. There's always growing pains with 7 new guys.
DJ Sin City, my bad. DJ Sin City. I got you. My bad. Sorry. Man, my brain is fried. I was typing and Devin asked me a question. He said, Sam, he said, when you got a hitch and you got press on the hitch, what does it turn into? And Vance, it was like he was speaking Chinese to me. I couldn't.
He said commercial fade.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like he could have been speaking Chinese to me. My brain has been fried of late. And so this says DJ Sin City, as sure as the day is long. I couldn't read it. I couldn't. My brain is like Jello right now. So thank you all for bearing with me. Allow me to get through these very trying moments. I appreciate you.
Now, Sam, there's more teams right now, receivers, when they run a hitch with press corner, some of them keep the hitch on. And what receivers are doing, they go hard, then they push off and come back, and the ball's thrown outside. I've seen more of that now than what I saw 5 years ago. He's right. Normally, hitch converts to a fade, but now with the RPO game, other things, people keeping the hitch on versus press. And receivers are making catches. It's a different era. Everything we learn as far as the basic rules of football, it's really changed.
Yeah. All right. Vance, this is a great question. I'm impressed. As much as we get a lot of fans who fall off the deep end, it just something happens. Season's over. Fire everybody. Cut everybody. Right? We have those fans too.
They were Ohio State fans. That's who they trolling us. They troll.
But we have some very, very, very smart football fans. as well. This is a great question. Kellen Sandifer says, Vance, what coverage does the team need to get better at? Quarters, 3, 2? This is a great question, Vance. What
You
do you
know
think?
what, Sam? The previous 3 years, we haven't run a lot of cover three. Cover three is a coverage that you need to spend a lot of time on. And for example, in the film study, we talked a little bit about it. Anytime you get 2 by 2, I mean, you got 2 receivers on each side. The first thing you have to defend is 4 vertical. How do you defend 4 vertical when you only have 3 guys deep? That's tough. You got to say, do I carry by the nickel back? Do I not carry? Do I reroute? Those are all the things you have to discuss in cover three. Then you go to cover 4, which is quarters. Now, if it's 2 by 2, are you playing true quarters or do you play palms, which is a read cover 2, things we just discussed in our concept video, things that you talk about. What do you do with the Mike linebacker? So for our corners, anytime they're playing a cloud corner, and what I'm saying, do you force them inside or outside? We give, even in this previous ball game, we gave some outside releases, and the safety, Sam, they have not been over the top, which still concerns me. So in each one of those defenses, you got to decide on what you're going to major in. Be honest, you're not going to be good in everything. Mm-hmm. The more you do, that takes away the execution of all of them. I mean, I always say I want to be good at certain things. So my favorite coverage was quarter, half. I'm going to be really good at that. It's going to adjust to anything you do. And then as we move back, because quarter, half, I caught cover 2. So my cover 2 should be pretty good. Quarters was going to be a little bit different. So I wasn't a big quarters guy, and I ran very little of it based on the teaching, that type of thing. And then cover 3 is one of the most difficult coverages to teach. I don't care where you are. You go back to Nick Saban and the guys at Georgia, they call it rip and liz. In other words, it was like playing man to man. The corners, if number 1 was out wide, they would press. And you had them all over the football field, even on the shallow cross run. So it's a lot of ways to teach it. So cover 3 is a thing that I was never a big fan at. So based on what they're doing, all of it needs a lot of work, every bit of it.
Yeah, it begs the question. John Hansel on Facebook says, well, why are we running cover 3 if we haven't been doing it the last 3 years?
Because you have a new defensive coordinator and there's certain things that he likes and he believes in. When you're running zone blitzes, a lot of times you could be in cover 3. So therefore, he's teaching it. Like in the video study, we had this coverage we call buzz, which is strong zone. In other words, in 3-by-1, the nickel back and the safety come down to that side and the backers push opposite. But again, when you talk about cover 3, and you remember 2 years ago, we talked about when Jesse Miller said, hey, I spot drop and I match up. I said, well, I'm not that good of a coach. I can't do both. I said that because it's hard to teach both. Because that means you get in a ball game and the kid's tired, one might match and one might spot drop, it leads to big plays. So in my opinion, you only do one. So I'm not a big cover 3 guy. If I'm running cover 3, I'm going to major in cover 3. So if I had 10 plays, then 5 times, 50% of the time, we're in cover 3 because all my adjustments going to be out of that particular defense. But again, Wink, he likes that coverage. It showed up in his ball game. So that's what he believes in. He's going to call what he believes in. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
Nick wants to know, are we going to set up super chats? Nick, I'm going to set up super chats for next week. That's someone asked me that before. Yes, we're going to do that for next week. DJ Sin City. Vance, what adjustments can we make for the up-tempo offenses that we are due to see coming up? What are your base calls? See, this is what I'm talking about. Vance, what are your base calls and how do you get calls in fast enough to not get caught in vanilla defensive calls? Great question. Great question.
The thing that we talked about over the past 3 years since we started this, Sam, is that when you went on first down, people don't go fast. In other words, it's 2nd and 7+. You know, I was in the Big 12. When we went on first down, they didn't want to be in 3rd down and long. I worked for Urban Meyer for 2 years at Florida. He never wanted to be in 2nd and 7+. So he would slow things down because he wanted to try to get to 3rd down and 3 to 4. Number 1 is win on first down. Number 2, when you're in practice, if you know you're going against up tempo, you got 2 offenses going. Boom. So now the defense, they get used to making calls because up tempo, they're on the line of scrimmage right now. There's 2 ways to go up tempo. You're going fast right now. You go on the line of scrimmage. let them get set, then you look to the sideline. So if they do that, you have a chance to adjust your call. For me, I was going to blitz. You go up tempo, I'm going to blitz you right now. We have some base calls right now. BJ used to be my signal caller. BJ, we're going to run field stealer. We coming from the field. I don't care which man. So you want to go up tempo, I'm going to go hit your quarterback. And so Wink got to get used to it because, again, in the NFL, he didn't see up tempo. So that's an adjustment that Mike went through that problem. Remember that first year?
I do.
He had some problems with up tempo, and we talked about that almost about the first 4 weeks.
Yeah, that Michigan State game, I thought
it shook him. He was shook.
Yeah.
I mean, so Wink got to get used to that. He hadn't seen that in the NFL. It's an adjustment, but I think he has a good staff, guys who his DB coach been a coordinator, his linebacker coach been a coordinator. They can bring some things to Wink to say, Wink, this is up tempo. This is things you have to be thinking about because you're not going to be able to do certain things. So the biggest thing is your players got to be aligned and not confused. That's everything.
D-line coach was a coordinator too, so you got 3 coordinators over there.
A lot of experience.
Dr. Singh says, Coach, do you think number one, Jayshon Barham is not playing up to the hype, especially in coverage or tackling?
His coverage is not great. He's better when he's blitzing him doing certain things. He flashes, but sometimes in his zone drops, he's not in the right spot. I mean, he'll flash and make a really good play, and it's a wow factor. Then all of a sudden, the simple plays, he's not showing up. That's a good observation by him. I mean, he's a flash player. I don't like flash players. I like consistent players. He needs to be more consistent in what he's doing. He does a great job in blitzing and those type of things, but his coverage, he's not where he needs to be.
Yeah, one of those things. All right, we need to kind of wrap things up here so Vance can be on his way. All right, so how do you?
Sam, we got to get this question. That is right there. That's when I just saw that. I love this guy.
Let me read it.
Okay.
Now I don't know, so I'll just say Ben K because Ben said you said my name wrong. I just told you my brain is fried right now, so I just call you Ben K on YouTube because I said his name wrong. He said, "Sam, that's not how you say my name." And I'm telling you, I'm looking at it, and I would say it the same way right now. It's just not registering with me right now. So I apologize, Ben. I love you. I really do. He says, Ben K says, Vance, how do you think Michigan's defense has evolved in terms of disguising coverages and pressures compared to previous years? This is a great question. Do you see any particular trends?
We've talked about this in the past. Disguising, I think, is outstanding. I'm a firm believer in that. But I've also made this comment too. Don't disguise yourself out of a position to keep you from doing your job. We're disguising more this year than what we did last year. But sometimes our young players are not smart enough to realize you're putting yourself in a situation where you can't have success because you're over disguising. You don't know when to come out of it to get to your coverage. And that happened this past week. So disguising is great. We've done a great job in disguising certain things. When people put formation to the boundary, Mike McDonald, he had the same issue. Remember that 3 years ago? So we getting FSL, he not adjusting to it. And we had a lot of passes to the boundary and different things. This past ball game, we had some FSL. We wouldn't line up properly. They knew right now that we were playing some type of zone because of our look. So don't disguise yourself where you can't get your job done. And to me, a player got to be smart enough to understand that. And right now, I don't think our kids are showing that. Our disguises a few times, not very often, a few times, it has hurt us.
All right. DJ Sin City said, please, Sam, let me get the last question. All right, Jeremy. All right. He says, why are we missing so many tackles and pursuit angles? How can we fix this?
Our pursuit, number one, has been great. Okay, so I'm going to knock that out. But we are missing more tackles than last year. I want to look at overall. How many of those guys in the back seven, not counting Will, have gone and play on NFL teams right now? There's a reason why they were starters. There's a reason why they're on NFL teams. Our talent level right now and our experience level is not the same as what it has been for the previous 2 years. Now our tackling has gotten better. Our pursuit, I mean, this past ball game was outstanding. So we need to improve some tackling, and that's coming along. They work on it, I'm pretty certain, every single day. And therefore, we're going to get better and better and better as the season goes on. And I think that's key. So, great question. Great question.
It's a great question. So listen, we got to wrap it up, folks. Um, I'll tell you again, download the Autograph app to see the film studies. The film studies will go live tomorrow. They always go live on Wednesdays on the Autograph app. The Autograph app is free. It is available on Android and iOS. I'm going to put the QR code up on the screen for you to scan and download right now. This is very, very simple to do. All right. I know a lot of folks are opposed to downloading QR codes. I get it. I understand. All right. So after I put the QR code on the screen, the next thing I'm going to do is give you the link. All right. We're going to make it very simple for both folks, the folks who are okay with QR codes and the folks that only want to do links. So first, here's the QR code for those of you who are okay with that. Here's the QR code. Download that or scan that QR code. iOS, Android users, start looking at those film studies. Great thing about the Autograph app. First, that it's free. Second thing is you're a Michigan fan. You look at your favorite Michigan blogs, listen to your favorite Michigan podcast. You watch the film studies. All those things you do, you get points for, and then you can redeem those points for rewards. That's the great thing about the Autograph app that Tom Brady and his crew came up with, and helps my man Vance, helps my man Al Borges. They were, labor intensive, all this they were doing for you on YouTube for all those years. Now we can get Vance some steaks. All this work he's doing for you guys, right? So, okay, now some of y'all you do not like to go out there and put scan QR codes. That's fine. I get it. Here is the link.ag.fan/Sam Webb. This is very simple, very easy. Link.ag.fan/Sam Webb. Got it? Some people say, okay, well, what's the code? Just if you want to just go right to the website, it's Sam Webb. Download the app, get started, can see the film studies on Wednesdays. The
Hey,
very last, go ahead.
Sam, see my phone, you can't really see it, but you could hit the Michigan Insider and everything for the last week. Sam, it's about 20. I can scroll up all Michigan Insider stuff right there. If I can find it, Ray Charles can find it, Stevie Wonder can find it. That means you people out there, you should be able to find it.
Yes, you should.
Easy. Michigan Insider right there. Sam, I did that.
All right. See, now I got one last thing to pass along to the people. See, now y'all know the Buckeyes love me, right? The Buckeyes really love me. See, there's of all the distractions that I crave, that let me know that I'm back, that give me a laugh, is being around these Buckeyes. Because they can't get enough of me, right? The Buckeyes cannot get enough of me. For as confident as they are, they're worried about Michigan. You know how I know they're worried about Michigan? They're in here watching us right now. I'm serious. Man, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Dexter Green, listening to you guys, sitting in Chicago traffic. Amazing job, guys. Always Mr. Scam and Vance. The Buckeyes are watching, people.
Oh my goodness.
The Buckeyes are watching. Do you understand? Do you understand?
Oh my goodness.
How in their heads this gives me such joy and such pleasure. So doing these film studies, this counterintelligence, this reconnaissance that we're doing, this Connor Stallions on steroids sort of scheme that we have going on, folks. Listen, this film study that Vance is doing, you guys, Vance is putting it together for you, but it's available to everyone, to all who want to see it. All this intel that Vance is putting together, you know, who knows who it can help? I mean, it might give clues to who knows who might use these clues. Maybe these clues might make their way to who knows? Who knows? You might be helping the cause. So if you want to help the cause, all you got to do is help fund that Buckeye breakdown. Help fund that Buckeye breakdown. Help us break down the Buckeyes. Help us with that Buckeye film study, folks. We're going to have Buckeye film studies in both bye weeks. Starting next week, we'll look at what the Buckeyes did the first, 5 games, and then the second bye week, I think it's the next 5 games, and we will see how it works out. You know, maybe it'll matter the last week of the season. Maybe it won't. Either way, you'll know what those Buckeyes are going to bring to the table through the eyes of an expert like Vance Bedford. So I'm going to put the link, the PayPal link in the description. I'm going to put the PayPal link in the comments, and I'm putting the PayPal link in the chat right now. It could be $1, it could be $5, it could be 10, it could be whatever you can do to help us fund that Buckeye breakdown. If you can help, go ahead, click that PayPal link, help us fund that Buckeye film study. And we're gonna have a whole lot of fun getting
Hey,
ready.
Sam, I got a question for you. I'm reading on the comments. One guy said once it's playing in a smartphone browser, you can open YouTube on the web and go to your history and start the video there on your TV. So I don't know. And that's from Todd Lindsay. So I have no idea because some people say I can't sit on my phone, but I was going to ask that question. Is there any way once you open it up in the app, can you share it to your TV and open up that way?
Well,
I don't know that, but check it out.
You probably can. And a lot of people can cast their phones to their television.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, there you go. That'll be a way to do it. Try that, Dr. C. If you can't see it on your phone, try casting your phone to your television if it's capable of doing that. Boom. So great tip there, Vance. And you said you're not technologically savvy. Yes, you are, Vance.
Not at all.
You are. Yes, you are. Anyway, that's gonna do it for this edition of the Michigan Football Breakdown. Focus on the defense with Vance Bedford. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much. I love and appreciate my Michigan family so much. I cannot express it enough how much I love all of you people. It really means a lot. So we'll be back tomorrow with with Dropping Dimes. It will not air live. We're going to record it. We're still going to play it at 2:00. I got to record it early because I have a procedure to get done. So we're going to record it early, but we're still going to play it at 2:00. So it will air at the regularly scheduled time, but it will be recorded. So you'll still be able to put your comments on there live and everything. So be on the lookout for it tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Hey, Sam, hold it, Sam. Hey, I want everybody to sign in to DG and ask him, was he smart enough to play wide receiver or quarterback? Because he won't talk about defensive players. I need a whole bunch of people sending those text messages to my man DG talking about defensive players. Inherently dumb. Really? Really? Sam, really?
Hey, I told you I didn't make it up, man.
Oh,
hey, it was over this week, man.
Tell me anything. Al made the man a wide receiver. So Al must have been thinking, well, I don't think he's smart to play quarterback. So I'm listening to Al. Al said that, not me.
Yeah, the people know we got something started. Hey, the people said they got your back, man. The people say, "Oh, man,
Let's go.
Oklahoma drill with DC."
Let's just get it live at 5.
We'll see y'all next week, family. Love all y'all. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another edition. All right.